There is a particular kind of arrogance that only exists in corporate middle management, the belief that loud opinions can replace actual competence. And my boss, Marcus, was the reigning champion of that delusion. My name is Maya, and for 3 years I was the quiet, diligent engine running his entire department. But the thing about quiet engines is that they can also be the ones who know exactly how to safely bring the whole machine to a halt. This is the story of how arrogance met its match in the compliance department. Marcus loved to present my work as his own. He was charismatic, used endless corporate jargon, and was very good at smooth-talking upper management. He constantly took credit for my ideas, my analysis, and the complex project structures I designed. When I confronted him politely, he'd dismiss it as team efforts and tell me I needed to be more visible. The insult came exactly 2 months ago. I had just finished designing the strategic framework for the Orion Initiative, the company's biggest project of the year. It was my masterpiece, 18 months of research, data analysis, and regulatory navigation. Marcus took the 100-page document, glanced at the executive summary, and immediately scheduled a presentation with the CEO and the board of directors. He told me, quite explicitly, that I wouldn't be in the room because the presentation needed a stronger executive presence, and my participation would only clutter the narrative. He was going to pitch my initiative, secure the multi-million-dollar budget, and accept the accolades. While I sat at my desk revising his spreadsheets, I didn't argue. I didn't scream. I smiled, said, "Understood, Marcus," and went back to work. Because I knew something he didn't. When Marcus took my initiative document, he missed one very important, seemingly boring section. I work in project strategy, but I previously spent 3 years in the regulatory compliance department. The Orion Initiative was complex, and it required specific, non-negotiable state certifications that were incredibly tedious to obtain. Marcus, having only read the summary, assumed these were already handled. They weren't. Instead of rushing to complete the applications, I deliberately paused the certification process. I knew that without these certifications, launching the initiative was legally impossible. I documented every step of my strategy, every version of the presentation I created for him, and exactly when I had politely informed him about the certification requirements, he had waved me off, saying, "We'll handle details later." The day of the presentation arrived. Marcus walked in looking incredibly confident, in his expensive suit holding my presentation slides. I sat at my desk and opened the live company compliance tracker. 45 minutes into the presentation, I saw the message I knew was coming. The company's chief legal officer, who always reviews major projects, sent Marcus a direct message during the meeting. I saw Marcus's face subtly fall through the glass conference room window as he checked his laptop. CEO, Ms. Henderson, asked a specific, piercing question. "Marcus, this initiative looks fantastic, but before we approve this significant budget, can you confirm that the necessary state certifications, specifically the Alpha and Gamma permits, are already secured?" Marcus, completely unprepared and arrogant, bluffed. He smiled and confidently stated, "Yes, Ms. Henderson. My team has assured me that those are fully processed and approved." He lied in a board meeting, directly to the CEO. Legal officer, Ms. Chun, immediately spoke up. "Actually, Marcus, I'm looking at the real-time compliance dashboard, and both the Alpha and Gamma applications are listed as pending submission. This project cannot legally proceed without them." The conference room went dead silent. Marcus stammered. He tried to claim it was an administrative error by the team. That was my moment. CEO Henderson looked at the attendees list and said, "Maya, you are the lead strategist for this initiative, correct? Can you please join us and clarify the status?" I calmly walked into the conference room, my laptop in hand. I didn't look triumphant. I looked professional. "Ms. Henderson," I began calmly, "you are correct about the compliance status. The certifications are indeed pending. Marcus glared at me, his face turning red. Maya, I told you to handle this weeks ago. Why isn't this done? Actually, Marcus, I replied, opening my laptop and displaying a detailed timeline and communication log. As you can see here, I provided the compliance requirements list to you 8 weeks ago. On multiple occasions, I flagged the need to initiate the application process, but you indicated we should prioritize finalizing the presentation visuals and that you would coordinate compliance directly. I then showed a screenshot of an email from him stating, "Stop obsessing over paperwork, Maya. Focus on the pitch." I didn't have to raise my voice. I just presented the facts. The board saw everything: my meticulous planning, the detailed regulatory strategy, and Marcus's deliberate dismissal of critical compliance duties. They also saw him lie directly to their faces. Karma didn't take years. It took exactly 14 minutes. CEO Henderson thanked me for my diligence and my documentation. She then looked at Marcus. "Marcus, your incompetence and dishonesty are unacceptable. Effective immediately, you are removed as the lead of the Orion Initiative." "Maya," Henderson continued, looking directly at me, "you have demonstrated unparalleled competence and integrity. You are officially promoted to Director of Project Strategy and will lead the Orion Initiative. Your first priority, of course, is to finalize those certifications." The story has a very happy ending. I successfully launched the initiative, which became a massive success for the company. Marcus was demoted to a non-leadership role in another department. Some say it was the special projects equivalent of the corporate basement, where his arrogance could no longer harm anyone's career. This isn't a story about a complex revenge plot. It's a story about the inevitable collision between arrogance and compliance. You might be able to smooth talk your way into the room, but only competence and integrity keep you there. And sometimes, the best revenge is simply doing your job so well that the truth speaks for itself.